What's up, middle school? Hope you guys are doing great on this beautiful Sunday. Thanks for joining us at our new time, 10:15. We've been doing it for a couple weeks now. Also, thanks for joining us on IG Live at lunch this week. We've loved having you guys and maybe answering some riddles with Dallas.
Yes,
it's been a favorite segment. But you may be wondering what we are holding, and it's come to the time to announce the 2020 FGS March Crackness winner.
Which, by the way, this little trophy is not just a beautiful golden chicken.
It is.
But it actually says 2020
it says
FGS March Crackness champion.
And if you are the winner, you will be awarded this trophy along with some other great prizes.
That's right. You will not get this crown.
The crown is for Dallas because he's the real winner here.
Yeah. My egg.
Right.
The egg named Dallas is the real winner.
Right.
If you're not familiar, the egg named Dallas was the champion, and we had actually quite a few of you who selected Dallas as the champion, as the victor of March Crackness. But there were two people in particular who had far more points than nearly anybody else. In fact, one person had a score of 50, and the other person had a score of 51 March Crackness points. Drum roll, please, while you're at home. Brentley, please reveal our winner and our second place, our runner-up, who will get a prize as well. Drum roll, please.
Fun. All right, our second place, we'll start there, was Ethan Eba with 50 points.
Great
Congratulations.
job, Ethan.
You will be getting a prize, and we'll get that to you sometime this week.
Yep.
And then for first place, it all came down to this. Ethan Anderson, way to go. 51 points. You had Dallas. I'd also like to thank you for putting me in the Final Four and for believing in me. That meant a lot.
Yeah, thank you both for believing in me. Thank all of you who believed in my little egg, or maybe you put Brentley's through. You believed in her. It didn't do much, but sorry, Brentley. I mean, your egg.
The egg named Brentley.
Okay.
It's different. It's not the same.
Yeah, but congratulations to the Ethans. Remember, Ethan Anderson is our winner. We'll get you prizes, and Ethan Ebal will get you your runner-up prize. Congratulations to you both. Now, as we keep going today, remember that you can send us your scare and 10-second talent videos. Send them to Scott Hudson, his emails down below. Today, we are continuing in our 10 practices, and actually, Brentley Williams is going to be bringing the message this morning, so make sure you stay to hear about creation and what it means to spend time with God in creation. We've also got Dance Moves with Dally. We've got a game that we're going to play in just a few minutes. We've got some musical worship that we can all enjoy and sing together. And but right now, we've actually got a special announcement coming up from me and Matt about the future of us gathering together, and it's probably happening way sooner than you think. Many of you have asked, when are we getting back together? When's all this stuff gonna clear up? Well, we don't have the answers for when everything's gonna clear up, but we do have the answer to when we're getting back together and what that looks like. So that's coming up next.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome. We know you're excited. We're excited to announce the big news. In 1 week, May 31st, we are back in person, live services here at Fellowship Greenville students, and we can't wait to see you. A couple of things you need to know though, so that this flows smoothly and safely in this whole transition process. We're gonna be meeting Sunday nights, regular time, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., but it won't be in the student room. It'll actually be in Auditorium 2. So when you get onto campus, you need to go to Auditorium 2. Don't come here, go to Auditorium 2. And for the summer, it's actually going to be like combined united nights every single Sunday. It's going to be middle school and high school together for the foreseeable future.
That's right. And when we get together, as excited as we're going to be, we do want to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe and healthy. So we've got a couple guidelines, things like this. We're going to make sure that seating is a little spaced out. So unless you're sitting with a family member, we're going to ask that you keep a certain amount of distance, and we'll help you guys see that as you're coming in. When it comes to seating, we're actually going to start seating at 6:15, even though service may not start till a little later, just to give some added time for people to get to their seats.
So get here on time, please. Don't trickle in, because we need to seat everyone accordingly.
Yeah, very important. And then we're going to ask that you do no physical contact. So we know it's going to be hard. You're going to want to high five. You're going to want to hug. You're going to want to do the elbow thing if that's okay. But we're asking that you do no physical contact, again, to keep everyone safe and healthy. And we know that it's going to be different, maybe even a little awkward or weird. But we believe that this is the best way to move forward.
Yeah, and then we've sent an email out to all your families just outlining some of the protocols of what we're doing and what we need you to do. We're going to ask that you take a look at that again so that we can make sure we're doing this safely and smoothly in this whole transition process.
That's right. And we know that some of you guys may not feel comfortable, or your parents or families may not feel comfortable with you coming yet. That is totally fine.
Totally
we are
okay.
going to miss you, but we understand. You can still catch us. We'll have a service similar to the one on Sunday nights at 10:15 on Sunday morning. So tune in there for YouTube premiere, and we can chat with you and catch up with you that way. We're going to miss you in person, but we'd love to catch you even virtually.
Yeah, so either way, you can get us online or in person, but it all starts May 31st, and we can't wait to see you guys.
That's right.
We love you. We've been looking forward to this for a long time. Have a great week.
All right, everyone. We have this week a game called Famous Phrases, the Emoji Edition.
Nice.
So what you're going to see, I love the three nices. What you're going to see is some emojis are going to pop up on the screen, and you have to determine what the famous phrase is.
Sounds good.
That these emojis make. So type it in the chat, play along. If you think you know the phrase really early on, or maybe you've seen this before, don't type it in the chat right away. Give other people a chance to type it.
Yeah.
And
give everyone a chance. We'll see who gets it in the chat.
Yeah, be nice about it. So also, this was inspired by someone in the chat last week. So shout out to you, Matthew, Kazmarek, Kaz. I don't know how to say your name. All right, here's the first one. It is cake.
Yeah.
A cake emoji.
Cake in a box.
Or is it pie?
Oh, and is the strawberry significant?
We're going to give you guys a few seconds to answer. Yes, we got to go quick here. But what do you think this is? Type in the chat. What famous phrase do you think this cake or pie or whatever it is describing or is a representation of?
Yes. Here we go.
Yep, give you about 5, 4,
3,
2, 1. The correct answer is a piece of cake.
Nice. I did not get that the first time.
I know. That was like you
are like too simple.
Shooting for the moon over your head, and yeah, it ends up being way simpler than you thought.
Yes.
All right, this next one, we've got a girl, maybe a woman.
Yes. A knife.
Like that's a sharp-looking knife.
Yeah.
And a piece of cake. I mean, not a piece of cheese. I mean, to some people it might be cake.
I don't. Maybe.
What famous phrase do you think these three emojis make? A woman like shrugging, maybe asking a question, plus a knife, sharp utensil,
yes,
and cheese. What famous phrase? Let us know in the chat. We'll give you 3,
2,
1. The correct answer is who cut the cheese?
Yes,
you know that as the middle school partners here, we had to do it.
Yeah, we had to.
So, sorry guys. Sorry, not sorry. Here we go. The last one in this famous phrase emoji edition. Brantley, what emojis do we have?
Yeah, so we've got some sort of cup with a straw and a heart that's been broken or has, there's 2 pieces there.
Sad.
We've got a camel and then a backpack. So this is probably the hardest one. There's 4 different emojis. If you haven't gotten anything up to this point, maybe you can redeem yourself here.
Yeah, a lot of red. Wonder if that has anything to do with it. Probably not. Just pointing that out. Let us know in the chat what you think. And actually, we're going to give you a hint on this. We're going to be kind.
Yeah.
And the hint is that little straw. Okay. Or at least an arrow that looks like it's pointing to the straw.
Right.
So does that help you out any? Let us know in the chat which famous phrase you think goes with these emojis. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to answer. The correct answer is the straw that broke the camel's back.
That was a harder one.
That was really hard. That was a pretty hard one, especially if you weren't looking at the straw to begin with.
Right.
That hint was really helpful. So guys, thank you so much for playing Famous Phrases Emoji Edition with us. Shout out to all of you in the chat who got correct answers, even if you got just 1 right.
Yes. Let us know how many you got in the chat. We'd love to hear.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
Hey guys, so this week Brentley's going to be teaching us on our 6th practice, being in creation. As we get ready to sing together, let's read one of the greatest miracles that God has ever done. Let's read the story of God creating something beautiful from nothing. This is part of Genesis 1, the very beginning of creation. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And it was so. And God called the expanse heaven. God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called the seas. Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit. Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night. God said, "Let the waters swarm with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens. Let the earth bring forth living creatures." And then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." God created all things. We have been given both dominion over his creation and an invitation to dwell with him in it. Being in creation is a glimpse at the splendor of who God is. As we're going to hear more about later, God has revealed his characteristics within his creation. So let's sing together and thank our Father for the beautiful world that he has given us.
This is my Father's world, and to my listening ears, all nature sings and around me rings the music of the spheres. This is my Father's world, I rest me in the thought of rocks and trees, of skies and seas, his hands the wonders wrought. This is my Father's world, the birds their carols raise, the morning light, the lily white, declare their Maker's praise. This is my Father's world, he shines in all that's fair. In the rustling grass I hear him pass, he speaks to me everywhere. This is my Father's world, oh let me never forget that though the wrong seems all so strong, God is the ruler yet. This is my Father's world, the battle is not done. Jesus who died will be satisfied, and earth and heaven be one. Jesus who died will be satisfied, and earth and heaven be one. And earth and heaven be one. And earth and heaven be one.
Yes, God, we thank you for this beautiful world that we get to live in. I ask that you would continue to let us see you in it. Reveal yourself to us through it. May we experience rest and joy as we experience your creation. Open our hearts and ears to hear what Brentley has to say later when you speak through her. We ask this in your son's name. Amen.
What's up, middle school? So excited to be here with you guys this morning as we talk about our 6th practice of being in creation. I love creation, and I'm so excited to share with you guys today how this specific practice of being in creation helps us grow in our faith, especially in this time. Now, before we get started, I want us all to take a minute and just think about a time that we've been in creation that has maybe moved you and made you think about God. Maybe he's revealed something to you and what he's made. Maybe you've been in awe at the beauty or complexity or the scale of what you're seeing in creation. I'll kind of help you think and share some of those times for me. So for me, it's when I'm hiking or in the mountains, especially with the leaves changing in the fall or new leaves in the spring. When I look up at the sky and see all the stars at night. Maybe if you're a beach person, I don't understand, I'm a mountains person, but if you're a beach person, maybe it's when you're looking out over the ocean, or maybe with all these rainstorms and thunderstorms we've been having lately, it's listening to the rain. Whatever it is for you, I hope that you can keep that in the back of your mind as we're talking today about how creation reveals God and who he is. Keep that in your mind. Maybe share it with the person you're watching with as we go about our morning. So our focus today is obviously on creation, and we believe that God has revealed himself through what he has made, and that immersing ourselves in creation is good for our mind, body, and soul. Another way of saying this is that creation is both healing and revealing. It's revealing of God and who he is, his attributes, his characteristics, and it's also healing for our mind, body, and soul as we come to know him better and as we get outside and kind of get out of our minds and into our bodies and can enjoy creation with our Father. Now, I do want to take a minute to say that just getting outside is not the same thing as practicing being in creation. Okay, so just like last week, we talked about how isolating yourself is different than being in solitude with the Father. So getting outside is sometimes we're focused on doing something. Maybe you're playing basketball or swimming or fishing, and you don't really take the time to sit and be with the Father, listen from him, and let him teach you through his creation. So that's where we're going with this practice. It's not just being outside, it's actually being with the Father in his creation. And you may be wondering, why are we including this as one of our 10 practices? Why is it that important for our faith? And we think it is so important because we see throughout the Gospels how Jesus modeled being in creation and also used creation in his teaching and his parables too. So I'll give you guys a few examples of that. We won't need to turn there, but Matthew 6 is one of those. And you guys probably remember this passage. We've talked about it in FGS before, but Jesus talks about how God takes care of the birds of the air and the lilies of the field. And if he takes care of them, how much more will he take care of you? And so Jesus kind of talks about creation to point to God's provision, how he provides for us in our lives and for his generosity and love. Another passage is John 15. We've also talked about this one in FGS before. And here Jesus uses the idea of a vineyard to talk about our relationship with God. And he talks about how just the same as a branch must abide in a vine to bear fruit, we must abide in him. Another passage is creation. Nathan talked about this at the beginning of worship. God speaks creation into existence. And now we get to see later on, we'll talk about it more, but how creation is actually speaking about God. We also saw with solitude that God was in the garden with the Father praying. So over and over again, and in Jesus's parables, he uses planting and harvesting and fishing and plants and animals throughout his teachings. So Jesus over again practices actually being in creation and uses it to teach us more about the Father. So for the next few minutes, let's focus on just a couple passages that talk specifically about creation. For the first one, we'll be in Romans 1. So go ahead and find your way there in your paper or digital Bibles. I'll be reading from my paper Bible, but the verses will also be on the screen for you. So verses 19 and 20 of Romans 1. For what can be known about God is plain to them, talking about people, because God has shown it to them. For his invisible attributes, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly perceived ever since the creation of the world and the things that have been made, so they are without excuse. So here Paul is talking about how creation points to the creator, and we know that's God. God is revealing himself through what he has made. In verse 20, it says, his invisible attributes or his characteristics, the things that we can know about God, have been clearly perceived or seen and experienced ever since the creation of the world and the things that have been made. It's a good time to point out here too that anyone in the world can look at creation and come to the conclusion that there is a creator. But for Christians, we know that that creator is God. And so through creation, we can come to know God better and at deeper levels as he continues to reveal himself through what he has created. God has revealed himself through what he's made. So there are certain things about God and ways of interacting with him and experiencing his presence that we can experience most clearly in creation. And two of those things Paul talks about are his eternal power and divine nature, but that's not it. There's so much more. We already talked about his provision and generosity and love earlier in Matthew 6. And the list goes more than that too. But before we get to that, let's also look at Psalm 19, 1-4. You don't have to turn there. I'll read it for us. This is another passage that talks about the same things that we're talking about here. It says, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours out speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words whose voice is not heard. Their voice goes out through all creation, or all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. So this is the same thing that we've been talking about here. Again, we see that creation speaks of the creator. It even uses language like declares the glory of God and proclaims who he is. Talks about how creation pours out speech and reveals knowledge. So all the same stuff that we've been talking about, right? It also talks about how the voice creation can be heard throughout the whole earth, all of the world. I love here we see that no matter what, creation is praising God. So no matter what's going on in the world, whether there's wars or natural disasters or even a pandemic, creation is still praising God. And it's a reminder for us that no matter what's going on in the world around us or in our own lives, that we can worship our creator. Whether our parents are losing their jobs, whether our families, especially siblings, are fighting, whether there's more fear and anxiety, no matter what, we can still praise and worship our creator. Now, you may be wondering, okay, I see that Jesus modeled it and I see these passages talking about creation, but why do I need to actually practice creation, practice being in creation? Well, there's a long list of reasons, and one of them is that Jesus models it for us, but I'll kind of narrow down to 3 other reasons or benefits of why you should practice being in creation. The first is a sense of calm. Just like we talked about a second ago, this time right now has a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear. And right now we know that going out in creation helps us have a sense of calm and being with our Father. It clears our mind and rests our soul, and it reminds us that God is in control and holding all things together, so we can lean into him and trust him because he's faithful to control everything and hold it all together. Faithful just like the rising and the setting of the sun. So first benefit would be a sense of calm. The second one would be a sense of scale. So think about for a moment the feeling of being on top of a mountain and looking out over a long distance, or even standing at the edge of the ocean and looking out across the water. There's a feeling of just realizing how small you are in the expanse of creation. And this is not to make you feel worthless, but it's to remind you that no matter how small you are, God still knows you and loves you. It also kind of reminds us of our place. And this is not a negative thing. You know, sometimes we can hear know your place as something that's negative, but it's a reminder for us because sometimes we can be self-centered or prideful, or even think that other things that are going on in our lives are very big or daunting. But when we get out in creation, we are reminded of how much bigger and how much more powerful our creator is. So sense of calm, sense of scale, and the last one is a sense of better understanding. And this is kind of what we've been talking about, but God is revealing himself through what he's made and through creation. And so we can come to know our Father better and at deeper levels through experiencing his creation and being in it with him. So we've already talked about his provision and his generosity and his love, but also his faithfulness, how he controls everything, his attention to detail, his goodness, his eternal power, and his divine nature, all of these things, much, much more. So why should we practice being in creation? A sense of calm, scale, and better understanding. Now, you may know, okay, now I know why, but how do I actually do that? This is probably one of those practices that you do go outside, but you haven't really practiced this before. And that's okay. We'll talk about it now. But first, I do want to explain that the practice of being in creation is just that. It's a practice. So just the same as, if you're trying to work out, maybe build muscle or get fit, you guys know that just going to the gym one time is not going to all of a sudden like double your muscles, right? It's not going to make you huge all of a sudden. It takes time and it takes practice, right? So as you start to engage in this practice, don't expect it to come all at once. It takes time, but I encourage you guys to keep putting the time in. So here's an idea as you guys begin to engage in being in creation. I was in a class a couple years ago that talked about a lot of these same ideas of being in creation and learning from the Father about who he is through what he's made. And we were given an assignment one day to go outside and lay on our bellies and look at a piece of ground that was about 6 inches by 6 inches. And we were told to just look at that, nowhere else, for 20 minutes. And you're probably thinking, what? Are you kidding me? 20 minutes? There's no way I can focus for that long. But I promise you guys, it goes faster than you realize, because all of a sudden you start to notice all these things you never realized before. Like, yeah, okay, if someone asked you what color is grass, you would say green, right? But there's other colors in there too when you get up close and pay attention. There's also so much going on with the dirt. And then all of a sudden you see ants and beetles and they're going about their day as God created them to. And it's a reminder, you see all this detail in just this small patch of ground. And you're reminded of how much God pays attention to the little details, not just in the ground, but also for you. So the second half of our assignment was to then flip over on our backs and look up at the sky. And so you go from looking at something so small to seeing how big creation really is. And you're not even seeing all of it. You can't see all over the world or past the sky into the heavens, right? Into the stars. But it's a reminder of how big God is and how powerful he is to create all of that. And again, it's a reminder, you see how small you are in it. But just like God cared and loved that little ant, he loves you too and pays attention to the details in your life. Now, that's not all you can learn from that exercise. And there's so much more. But I encourage you guys this week to get outside, maybe try that exercise and sit and reflect and be with the Father. Focus in on him and allow him to teach you through what he's made. Other ways that you can be in creation are maybe when you go hiking or sit by the lake this summer, or go to the mountains or the beach, whatever it is. Maybe as we continue to get more rain, it's listening to thunderstorms and thinking about how powerful God is. Whatever it is, and wherever you find yourself in creation, please just take a second to sit and be with the Father, reflect on who he is, and allow him to teach you and reveal more about himself through what he has created, and experience a sense of calm, a sense of scale, and better understanding as you just remain with the Father in what he has made. All right, love you guys. Get outside, enjoy creation this week.
Thanks, Brentley, for that awesome message on creation. Guys, we are on our 6th week of our 10 practices, so only 4 more to go. And we want to encourage you to keep on working on those challenges. So you can go back and find those on Instagram, or you can rewatch our sermons here on YouTube. You can also find those on our FGS podcast now, which is really fun. So this week, we're talking about creation, and we want to challenge you to spend a time each day to get out in creation and experience God through the things that he's created. So you might do this by going on a hike and just looking up at the trees or looking at the mountains. Maybe you're out at the lake looking at just the waves in the water, or maybe you take a trip to the beach, or maybe it's just looking up at the sky or down at the grass. Any way that you can experience God through creation. So we also have some small group questions for you. Maybe it's talking through these things with your family or with your small group if you guys meet on Zoom this week. So our first question for you is, what's your favorite part of creation? So maybe you're a mountains person, maybe you're a beach person like me. Just talking through what's your favorite part of creation. Our second question is, in what ways have you experienced a sense of calm in creation? And we also want you to talk about a sense of scale and a sense of understanding. Those 3 things that Brentley talked about, the benefits of being in creation. And the third question is, how will you choose to enjoy God in creation this week? So we want you to talk about that practically, talk about things that you're going to do to experience God this week. So we hope those are encouraging to you, and we will see you in person next week, hopefully.
Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Dally's Dance Studio. We've got some moves for you, and when I say moves, I literally mean I've got 2 moves for you, and they're worse than what you saw last week, I promise. So here we go. This is one that everyone can do. It's called the lay down. Get on the ground like so, and lay down. Now, this is a move that really is for when you're tired and you're not sure if you can keep on dancing. Just get on the ground. It'll keep the people guessing. Are you praying? Are you sleeping? Are you contemplating your next big move? They don't know, and neither do you. After the lay down, it's really simple when you're starting to feel like some of your energy is coming back to do our second move, the turtle. I think you can do it. Let's try together. Wow, with moves like that, your soul will be well rested. You'll be ready to get back on the dance floor. Now, I know that these have been a little more difficult lately, and this one included is not really for beginners, but I'm proud of you for trying. Hey, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Guys, remember that next week, May 31st, is our first week that we'll be back together, but it'll be on Sunday night. So if you're still at home on Sunday morning, we'll be back at 10:15. So find us there or join us in person from 6 to 8 p.m.
Yes. Love you guys. See you next week.
Bye.